And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Alex G. And with me this evening, we do have a cast of characters, ladies and gentlemen. Or actually just gentlemen, because I don't know if there's any ladies on this show. Might be, though. It is 2022. So we have Luke, we have Matt, we have Jeff, we have Scott. What's going on tonight, gentlemen?
Everything.
Everything?
The thunderstorms have rolled through, so thunder rolls, the lightning strikes. That's how it goes? I forget now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone out there would know it's Garth Brooks' song.
So guys, if you hear anything in the background, I'm pretty sure Matt's mom is vacuuming in the background. So just keep that in mind.
Right. got the Roomba going.
Oh. I have a
imagine just the Roomba going, no reason.
It's just loud as fuck. I have one myself, and it's loud for no reason.
Did you guys see the lady who got her hair eaten by the Roomba?
No.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah. She had really long hair, and it was hanging off the bed, and somehow the Roomba sucked it up, and he had to actually call the fire department to get it off of her.
It's ridiculous.
Roombas.
You know, those things need a fair amount of maintenance. Like I have the rollers that I swap out like every couple of months. The rollers and the spinning thing on the side. So I change those out pretty frequently. You get them super cheap. I think I got mine on eBay for like $10, and I got like 6 of them.
Is yours made by Cyberdyne or Skynet?
Probably.
We're one step away from Skynet.
Well, I can have my Alexa can control it.
I have detailed files.
So I can turn it on using Alexa. So
don't say that too loud.
Well, she's right here.
I don't trust robots in my house.
Only vibrators.
No, it's the gift that keeps giving.
Well, yeah. Did they make a double-sided vibrator?
I'm sure they must.
I don't know. Like I know I've seen a double-sided dong in person now.
I've told you my double-sided dong story, right?
Yeah, and it smelled like Vaseline. It was weird.
No, it was at Home Depot. It was a parking lot find.
Yes.
And it led to a manager getting fired.
A double-sided dildo.
Yeah, we have an adult. Well, my old store had an adult store near us, so people would come into our parking lot, shed the packaging, and then take their goods. And just as a preface, that same day, we had a thing with wiffle ball. But I was like team spirit community person, right? So I had this thing where you hit the wiffle ball off a tee and went into the wall, came off the wall, went into a bucket, and you got like your name and a ticket, right? So one of the guys at our store was special. So later on that night, he comes in and he's like, "Hey, let's go play. Let's swing the bat around." And it's a pack store. And I was a head cashier, so I look over. I'm like, "What?" Oh, and he's waving in his hand a double-ended dildo, like a baseball bat over his head, swinging it. So everyone's kind of like stunned. So I was like, "Holy shit!" So I go up and I grab a bag. I'm like, "Mike, put it in here." He's like, "Okay." Puts it in the bag. So I tie it up. And one of the managers, Keith, I'm like, "Dude, can you get rid of this?" So he scoops it up. Now, unbeknownst to me, Keith takes said double-ended dong, goes into the vault where the women counting the money is, and starts attacking them with it like a joke. And he's like smashing them all with like, oh my god. So one of them didn't think it was funny. Surprise. So this is like the mid 90s, late 90s, so it's a different time. So come to find out, he got suspended. So one of the guys was like, "Hey, if we can get in and get that out of the office, they won't have any evidence." Because that's how we thought. So I snuck in and stole it and smuggled the double-ended dong out of the store. But poor Keith lost his job.
Are you saying that in 2022 it might be more acceptable to attack a woman with a two-ended dildo?
Maybe less acceptable. I think at the time it was like, and I know exactly who it was that reported him. But like, to be fair, like
it was like a 75-year-old lady.
No.
He's hitting a 75-year-old lady in the head with a double-sided dong.
He literally chair shotted him with this thing. He was like smashing him over the side of the head with it. And it's like, dude, we don't know where it's been. If it was brand new out of the packaging, maybe they'd have been cool with it. But slightly used dildo, probably not a big fan. So, anyways, speaking of slightly used dildos, let's talk about trash talk.
I guess I have to do my due diligence here and make sure that guys, super chats are live. So if you want to contribute via super chat, go right ahead. Our memberships are live. You can get a free Revolution Extreme badge.
I got it.
That will pop up on your name over here. And You get highlighted in a different color so I can see your comments better. And all kinds of fun stuff along with that. In addition to that, we do have our Amazon link. If you want to buy said double-sided dong, you can do so on Amazon. And I get a piece. You don't spend anything extra. I just get like 15 cents for every purchase, so that's good. Helps out. Every little bit helps, guys. Keeps my wife off my back, which is nice.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Take this.
Yeah, for real. We're just getting a patio installed this week. Going into the patio.
Are you having the brickstone pavers and all that stuff?
Yeah, so it's all pavers.
Nice.
And they're building like steps to go in my backyard. But yeah, so that costs a lot of money, and I don't have any more. So please buy your sexual wellness goods on Amazon, and let me get a credit from that.
How about this? What if people like chip in a little extra money and they get to have a patio brick that says something on it like "F you, Alex"?
Oh, you could.
I dig that.
You know, guys, I am selling pictures of my feet on OnlyFans for 99 cents. So if anyone's interested, hook me up. They're fairly recently manicured or pedicured, I guess you would call it. A little hair on the knuckles, but it's all good.
Hey,
so.
the Hobbit look is good.
Hey, it's. I once dated a girl that looked like a hobbit. Circa 1997. Almost.
Then you sobered up.
That's only happened once, and then this was a rough one. So I guess we're doing TT, which is nice. Happy early 4th of July, because I guess we won't see you guys for 4th of July. Well, maybe we will. I don't know if anyone's doing anything. I'm off, so maybe I'll see you guys for 4th of July. Maybe not. But happy 4th for anyone that celebrates such things.
We're not going to do a special 4th of July celebration via the IWAR.
I mean, we could do 4th of July Star Wars. Like, why did World Class have fucking all these Star Wars? This is the strangest. Labor Day Star Wars. What the fuck was that about?
Star Wars is popular.
I understand that Star Wars is popular, but who names their big event Star Wars? Like, what does that mean in the wrestling context? It's just a bunch of stars on the show that are having wars?
Yes.
And that's something else you wouldn't get. You would not get away with that today.
Hell no. Hell no.
If they had like Endgame,
Yeah, it'd be like
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
And the ref is dressed like Thanos.
WWE presents The Batman. Oh, fuck.
Well, they did. Who was the last movie character they had on? They had RoboCop. Remember that?
Yeah.
They had, what was his name? Wasn't
I wish this is something AEW should do, is have RoboCop come back with Sting as a mystery partner.
Didn't Wolverine show up on one of these things? Like Hugh Jackman, didn't he punch Dolph?
Yes, I think that was during the ill-fated celebrity guest host era of Raw.
Yeah, he was on Raw. He I can't remember who he wrestled. He didn't wrestle, but he got involved. I think it was the Miz or somebody. He punched somebody.
And then Ziggler.
I think it was Ziggler.
Remember when the dude that played not Flash? What's the other show?
Aquaman.
Green Arrow or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
That guy came in and like wrestled matches.
Yeah. That's Cody's friend, because Cody was on Green Arrow.
Yeah.
But he actually has his own wrestling show now, like a show. I can't remember what it's called.
It's Heels. Heels.
Yeah.
CM Punk was on that show.
Yeah.
It's like a show about. It's a legit show about like independent wrestling.
To get paid in hot dogs.
I think they talk about it. Yeah.
To keep the theme alive. Here you go, CM Punk. Here's a hot dog and a soda.
You guys remember when WCW used to do the they'd bring in the athletes, like they had Karl Malone came in and remember when Kevin Green was on there?
Yeah.
Kevin Green, the football player. So Super Bowl 40 in Detroit. I'm at a tailgate party and Kevin Green's there.
Just hanging out.
And I start talking to Kevin Green, just shooting the shit about football. And then I asked him, I was like, how much did you get paid to do the WCW wrestling event? for that one match he wrestled, they paid him $3.5 million.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Wow.
That's why WCW went out of business.
That's like year of work. I guess probably more than he got paid in a year.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever made that much in a year playing football, but he said it was ridiculous. He did like 6 hours of training for it, and they paid him almost $4 million.
Because that's it. That's when he went to the Panthers, right? Because he was in Pittsburgh.
L.A., wasn't it?
No, it was Pittsburgh.
Was it Pittsburgh?
He was with the Steelers for a few years. Then he went to Carolina. He was at Carolina for a while. I think he played for Green Bay too.
Yeah, like towards the end.
That sounds right.
He's a good dude. He died though a couple years ago.
He's like a coach for a while too, and then he died. That's
Yeah, he told me stories about sacking quarterbacks and which ones were wussies about it.
Hey, quick aside. Who was the player for Baltimore that died? Ferguson?
Saragusa?
No, Saragusa was retired, but an actual player from the team now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him.
He just died in his sleep or something.
26
years old or 27 years old.
That's a goddamn shame.
Yeah.
Sudden adult death syndrome.
Jeez.
Sleep apnea.
That's cheerio.
Speaking of cheerio, I guess we're going to start off with the NWL. So, Jeff, what's going down? And the NWL.
The NWL, we are quickly approaching Clash of Champions 23. Results will be coming out here pretty soon for TT purposes. We'll probably have those results out, I would say, by realistically middle of next week. So if you're in the NWL and you have a Clash match, keep your eyes open for that in the NWL chat. As for TT, we have another 73-page NWL bulletin to get through. The NWL always busting out the TT left and right. And some people are writing 2-3 TTs every cycle. So it's getting thick over here. We start out this cycle with the Legends of the New Wave. And this is Stevie Vertigo, NWL alumni, who was the IWAR Revolution champion. And he lost that title to Nick Dane. Nick Dane is now the IWAR Revolution champion coming out of the NWL. And in this interview with Dapper Dandy, Vertigo talks about why he shook Nick Dane's hand and called off the dogs after the match. And basically he says, Nick Dane, he needed that rub. He needed the Vertigo rub. So he gave it to him. And then
I want to get rubbed by Vertigo. It's ridiculous.
Well, or by Queen Kyla, who is looking very, very sharp in her new avatar, made by yours truly. She's in the interview too. So after they talk about Nick Dane, Drago Tanaka comes out, and Drago Tanaka challenges Stevie Vertigo to a first blood match at Autumn Anarchy, and that is where this TT leaves off. So I guess we'll have to see what the resulting answer is from Vertigo in the coming weeks. Next up, we got John Drake, number 6. So John Drake's making a pretty big splash in the NWL. He's been probably 4 or 5 cycles now, always writing TT, putting him in there, and always winning some big matches. He's talking about how he recently beat the Nationalist, how the Nationalist is mainly about talking, no action to back it up. And he's talking about how his next challenge is against Nick Dane, and he believes that he's going to defeat Nick Dane. It's going to put him up to the next ladder of success in the NWL. But John Drake says he's got bigger successes on the horizon. So he's got some other things up his sleeve. We got the Wicked Spider, Ericophobia. And this is actually a contract signing. So this is the contract signing for Erica Phobia versus Angelina Blanco for the Lioness title at Clash. And Johnny B's in the ring, and both ladies come out, and Angelina viciously attacks Erica, basically knocks her unconscious, grabs the pen, and forces Erica to sign the contract as she's laying on the ground unconscious. And that match is now set for Clash 23. So we'll see who the next Lioness champion is going to be. We have a Futurescape match here, or a Futurescape segment from one of our recent Futurescape, I don't know what we'll call them, pay-per-view, mini pay-per-view. Or what does WWE call their pay-per-views now?
Premium live events.
There you go. Premium live event, Futurescape. So my two dads, Father Conrad, Father Bartolo, they defeat Flex Hardbody and Axel Eaton. Sinister Moon comes out. Now you got Angelina Blanco coming out on commentary. You got Wicked Spider Erica Phobia also coming out. So everyone's coming back out to the ring from the ladies match. And Suplex from the BWL happens to be in the front row watching this take place. And all three women get involved in a dust-up. And Suplex is sitting there with a smile on her face. In the end, it's a three-way match, and the Wicked Spider wins. She beats Sinister Moon with the kiss of death. Erica Phobia has her hand raised. Angelina comes into the ring. They're face-to-face. Sinister Moon comes in, and again, all three of them go brawling again. And this time we see Suplex sitting there with her arms crossed, just grinning and smiling and shaking her head yes, because she's happy with what she's seeing. So who knows? Maybe we'll be seeing those ladies in some Black Widow League action pretty soon. Next up, we got My Two Dads, Confessional Corner. And this is just one of several appearances this cycle for My Two Dads. So, My Two Dads, very successful lately. Father Conrad took home all the gold last cycle. And he is becoming a force, not just tag team-wise, but now singles-wise. And they're calling out Death Row. They won our chance at Death Row and Young Lions tag titles. They believe that Honor Revolt is the next team that they got to knock off. And they said that they applaud Honor Revolt's efforts to reform Cell Block Charlie and Shackles Malone, but they were unsuccessful. And My Two Dads will do it because they have the high one on their side. They have God on their side. And then they start talking about Dark Danger. So Dark Danger is a lost soul, according to My Two Dads. And they need to knock the demons out of Dark Danger and bring him back into the light. And keep that in mind, because we got another TT shortly here where that all comes to fruition. We have a debut. The debut of the Nightmare Court, a new faction. There's three members. There's Deadman Xerus, Prince Blood, and Red Scarlet. And it says that not much is known about this group, except they're from Mexico. Okay. They are strike first, ask questions later competitors. And it looks like they're going to be making a pretty big debut because they're actually on the Clash 23 card now. They're going to be in the tag team warfare match to determine the next Young Lions tag #1 contender. So we'll be seeing more of them upcoming. We have a very cryptic and very short message for Ryoto Onryo. It says, you've been taking on scrubs. Time for a new challenge, and there will be nothing left after you get disintegrated.
Oh.
Yeah, sounds painful. We have another, I guess, goodbye TT from Colonel Doom. He's already had 4 of those, so we're going to go ahead and skip over this. Sorry, Colonel Doom. This has nothing to do with the NWL. I think it actually might have been put here by mistake. So I think it's a BRL TT.
I've decided to call that, when that happens, the Catfish Rob Award. Whenever CD for one league shows up in another league, it's Catfish Rob Award.
I believe it's also in the BRL report. So we'll go over it in the BRL. We have a repeat of the John Drake TT, and then we get to the Caesar Sterling Network. This is a new 24-hour news network that a complete scumbag, Caesar Sterling, has funded. And he's funded this because the NWL refuses to tell the truth. The NWL is a purveyor of fake news. People like Dapper Dandy, all they do is talk fake news. So Caesar Sterling is putting his own money into this so that the fans of the NWL can get the honest truth for once. He even stole the CNN logo and made it CSN. So we have several news stories here. First news story shows that Mark Justice is preparing for his next career as a janitor. He is mopping the local floor of a Carmike Cinemas while his 17-year-old boss looks on approvingly. And he says, "We here at CSN wish Mark Justice a fine retirement. Although his career was short, it's better to go out in the middle instead of at the bottom." Next up, we have the first meeting of the No Limits Nick Dane fan club. And it is a bunch of fat women. A bunch of fat women are in the Nick Dane fan club. And they were going to hold this meeting at Red Lobster, but unfortunately the floorboards couldn't hold the weight of the combined mass of the Nick Dane fan club. So they moved it to the Newark Elephant Sanctuary. And there they were able to feverishly celebrate Nick Dane as he finally enters puberty. We have Johnny Aztec's family reunion. Johnny Aztec's family reunion was, unfortunately, some members couldn't make it because they forgot to bring a ladder that was tall enough to scale the wall. But after a fantastic dinner, family members engaged in all kinds of fun activities, including mulch throwing, lawn cutting, weed pulling, and the removal of goose feces from the sidewalks. Unfortunately, the tunnel digging race had to be postponed due to rain. Devil's Rejects. Devil's Rejects were having a secret meeting, and they finally got filmed. It's the first time anyone's filmed the Devil's Rejects, and it was just some guy who happened to be walking his dog in a park. And he went into a restroom, and they were in there, and they were crying about how Machine finally gets into the main event at Clash, and he has to go up against Caesar Sterling, who obviously he's going to lose to. And the guy, he took off, but he got the tape, and he got it to CSN, so the NWL fans finally get to see what they're all about. And finally, the big story of the cycle, noted experts question IWAR ethics. And we have a picture of the noted experts who are all playing video games in their pajamas. And it says that the probe, the ethics probe against the IWAR network continues at the Public Opinion Courthouse at What Does It Matter Drive and Let's Get Along Avenue. And these accusations of intellectual sharing of proprietary statistical and strategical numbers are damning, but only to those who are overly emotional and incredibly lacking in other hobbies or life goals. So in other words, get over it. And that is your CSN report for this cycle. Next up, we got Death Syndicate. Death Syndicate, Zanroar specifically. Zanroar's calling out Harry Hurt, who he has an X1 title match with coming up at Clash. He's calling out Nick Gemini, who he basically says, "I've beaten you 100 times at this point. It's not even worth talking about." And then as he's finishing the interview, one of the new members of the Nightmare Court comes out onto the stage, Deadman Xerus. And Zanroar introduces him saying that it's one of his former partners, and he invites him to the ring. But Dead Man Zerus turns around and walks off. So guess he wants nothing to do with Zanroar. We've got Ryoto Onryo, an interview in the ring with Dapper Dandy. And well, he's a man of a lot of words, and he does have a 93-0 record as he's come into the NWL. He really doesn't say much with all those words. He's talking about how his next challenge is against El Hijo de Teamster at Futurescape. And he just says, he's going to inflict pain on the kid. And it's purification through pain. And next up for him is pretty much whatever he wants to do. Just know that it's going to be painful and it's going to be cold. These are really cool TTs. They've got just fantastic imagery. It's like very professionally done TT. So I commend whoever's running Ryoto. You're doing a great job. We've got another Death Syndicate TT. This time it is at Futurescape. It's a match between Mark Justice and Zanroar. And during this match, a man in a devil mask who's wearing all black, he comes out, he attacks Zanroar with a baseball bat, and then he places Mark Justice over top of him. And Mark Justice ends up winning the match. But we don't actually get to see who this man was. So it looks like Mark Justice has a lot of enemies in the NWL. And it looks like maybe he's got some help coming to have his back, which is probably a pretty good investment, considering that he seems to get attacked quite a lot. We've got Dark Danger. Dark Danger is talking loudly with a lot of deep breaths, like he normally does. And he's calling out Johnny Aztec. He's calling out Ryoto Onryo. And he's calling out my two dads. And he's saying that he invited them into the danger zone to come face their fears, but that they've been met by silence. So what are they afraid of? Suddenly the NWL arena lights flicker. And we'll get back to that shortly. We've got Oliver Livingston, your everyday hero. And he is at the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. And he is standing in front of the Mona Lisa. And Dapper Dandy, for some reason, is there. And Dapper Dandy gets an interview with him. Oliver Livingston is saying that the Nationalists, you might be having some success, but you're very misguided, and don't get in his way. Also, next on his list is El Hijo de Teamster, who seems to be rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. And then as they're having this interview, a very strangely dressed person begins to smear birthday cake all over the Mona Lisa. So Oliver Livingston, apparently because there's no security guards or police, breaks up the interview, secures his wife and daughter off to the side, then grabs the guy, arm drags him, punches him, throws an ankle lock on him, and then finally security comes and takes control of the situation. But we actually have a picture here, a photograph of Oliver Livingston standing next to the Mona Lisa after he saved it. And this is from CNN News, May 2022. We have a goodbye TT from the industry. NWL fans will remember that the industry are, I'd say, arguably the most successful faction in the NWL in the last year. They racked up tons of big wins. Between them, 3 league titles, 3 TV titles, 18 regionals. They've held the 6-man title 3 times. They've held the TV 6-man titles. They've won the league tag twice, battle royal twice, and 5 rookie brawls between them, which is that's crazy. That's very, very good work. And they're talking about how Rod Camino is making his way to the IWL. He's going to take on Barry Stevens for the championship. And that there's a lot of old rivals in the IWL and in the BRL that these guys might lock up again with someday. But basically, they're just thanking the NWL fans for a hell of a ride. And we have a nice thank you image of Rod Camino thanking the NWL fans. He says, I know I've always badmouthed the NWL fans, but to be honest, they're the reason I made it this far. They're the best in the business, and it's been an honor to entertain them as long as I have. So happy trails, Rod Camino. Good luck in the IWL. I'm going to take a sip of my delicious beverage.
Ooh. What are we drinking tonight?
Just iced tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, nothing good. So now we hook back up with Dark Danger. So at the end of Dark Danger's TT, the lights flicker. And then 4 hooded men jump over the rail and they grab Dark Danger and they take it. So now we have the exorcism of Dark Danger. And we've got Father Arturo and Father Conrad, and they're at the altar in their church. Dark Danger is now tied by his wrists onto a chair. The men that attacked him are standing behind him, holding him down. And Father Arturo and Father Conrad begin an exorcism, trying to get the demons out of Dark Danger. So, as this is going on, a large figure walks across the screen, and suddenly, Dark Danger is gone. Oddly, Angelina Blanco just happened to be in the chapel praying for her grandmother. And she heard a scary scream and saw a loud crash, and she ran over to check on my 2 dads, and all 3 of them walk out as they console Angelina, who's scared out of her wits. And we have no idea what happened to Dark Danger. I mean, he could have been kidnapped. But apparently he's in trouble. So we'll have to see how that plays out this coming cycle. Death Row is back, being interviewed by Dapper Dandy. And Death Row is making it clear. Cell Block Charlie, Shackles Malone, they do not care about singles titles at all. To them, it's all about tag team titles and 6-man titles. That's all they care about. It's because they are the best at it. And they are going to be the downfall of my 2 dads and all the other top tag teams in the NWL. At the end of the interview, Cell Block Charlie gets another phone call. Every time he gets a phone call, it seems like they're getting ready to attack somebody. So he answers a phone call and he says, yes, attack Mark Justice. I'll pay your usual fee. So Mark Justice looks like that he's got another price on his head. That's a lot. And we have a TT for Mark Justice. So Mark Justice has the biggest match of his career coming up at Clash 23. He is the #1 contender to the Young Lions title, currently vacant. And he has to take on both Machine of the Devil's Rejects and Caesar Sterling. And he's talking about how both of these guys, they're tough. But Mark Justice, he's a humble guy. He's not going to sit here. He's not going to talk about how he's going to kill these guys or he's going to, beat their heads in. He's just talking about how he's going to do what he has to do to take that next step. Mark Justice is developing into the white meat baby face that the NWL needs. So we'll have to see what happens at Clash 23, but possibly he takes home the big prize. And we're wrapping up here. We've got Honor Revolt, 3 straight pages of Honor Revolt. First off, we've got a match at the Moody Center in Austin, Texas. Mark Justice and Nick Gemini. They're battling Johnny Aztec and Sancho Valdez. Suddenly, Death Row comes out, and they start calling out Mark Justice. Apparently, they've got a problem with him because they already set up to have someone attack him. So as these guys are in the ring, and the match is basically stopped now, Cell Block Charlie says, Justice, on the last tour, we were set to take out Honor Revolt, and you got in the way. So now you're going to pay. So Zanwar comes out. Zanwar was under the ring. He comes out with a steel folding chair, and he goes after everybody. Zanwar loves folding chairs. He attacks everybody with a chair almost every cycle. He pulls Gemini out of the ring. He smacks Sancho across the back. He jams the chair into Aztec's ribs. Death Syndicate are beating down Aztec Injustice. Finally, H&R comes out and makes the save. Honorable comes out, makes the save. And here's the kicker to this TT. At the end, after they make the save, Honorable throws T-shirts to all four men. Justice, Gemini, Sancho Valdez, and Aztec. And they're H&R logos on the T-shirts. So either they're inviting them to join Honorable, or they're trying to form some type of a loose stable to take on Death Syndicate. Either way, it's an interesting development. We got our usual Honorable individual interviews here. We have Nick Dane. Nick Dane talking about how he is the new IWAR Revolution champion. Is that a common thing for somebody from the NWO to hold that belt?
Not very common. It's happened a few times, but not very common actually. So, but it's one of the only belts that they get a shot at when it comes to the IWAR titles. So
it's a pretty big deal, though, right? I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, good. So congratulations, Nick Dane, on accomplishing that. I think he was also the NWO League champ this cycle, so pretty damn good cycle. And he's calling out Caesar Sterling again, calling him Fredo like he always does, and basically saying, what have you accomplished lately? Nothing? That's okay. At least your butler made your bed for you, so that's something. We've got Lionheart, Lachlan Kincaid. He's talking about how Johnny Aztec, Mark Justice, and Gemini, how they threw the T-shirts to him. And he's actually telling Nick Gemini he should watch the IWAR Gold Workshop. Because it might help him. I don't know if Nick Gemini listens to the Tubecast, but
everyone listens to the Tubecast.
Even those that say they don't.
Warpath Wolf Keenan is calling out my two dads. H&R wants their Young Lions Tag Championships back. We have a TT here from the author of Agony, LePage Turner. Who I'm not familiar with this guy. I know he's the IWAR champion, but I'm not familiar with him. But he drops he drops a TT onto the NWL this cycle to kind of relive his days in the NWL, in the Rookie League. He says the competition was fierce, but it doesn't seem like it is anymore. So he's offering his book, 501 Ways to Win, to Mike Justice, not Mark Justice, Mike Justice, Oliver Livingstone, not Livingston, and whatever the hell a Zanroar is. That he would like to offer them his book. And he says, I was BRL's 2020 Wrestler of the Year, and you chumps are still trying to figure out how to beat Willow Wick, Ryoto Onion, and Blind Fury. So I'm assuming that his gimmick is that this guy's an asshole. Is that pretty much it?
Oh, yeah. He's one of the biggest assholes in the game.
The asshole.
The asshole, yeah.
Right.
He was MJF before MJF.
All right, good. So he made an appearance in the NWL, I guess, just to stir the stuff a little bit. And finally, we've got the Teamster Challenge right up. We actually had a TV tag title won by out of the Teamster Challenge this cycle, but no one's actually won the world titles yet. Teamster comes out with his son, his baby boy, Hio the Teamster. And he's trying his best. He's telling his dad he's trying his best. He's doing the best he can. Teamster just isn't happy. He's not satisfied. El Hio wants to congratulate Nick Dane, and the Teamster actually goes to slap him for wanting to congratulate him. And El Hijo, he cringes almost in fear of his dad. And he tells him to zip it. Says, we're not here to glad hand these chumps. What has Nick Dane ever done? Well, we know he's done a lot, at least recently. And at the end of this, Teamster says, that settles it. I need a break from you. We need to get someone else in here to show you what's what. Says, I have an application here to get you the finishing that you need to become a better wrestler. And El Hijo says, Papa, I just want to make you proud. And Teamster says, well, you better, because you're going to school. You're enrolling at Caesar Sterling's Excellence Academy. So the Excellence Academy has its first student, and it is El Hijo de Teamster. So hijinks shall ensue. And that is page 73 of the NWL report, and that is that for this cycle.
Man, I dig that. Next up, the IWL. So, Luke, what's going down in the IWL?
Nothing.
You're the worst.
All right, hold on. There's a lot going on. We had 72 pages.
Yeah, so suck it, NWL.
That's a lot.
We had 73.
Still suck it.
Yeah. So, man, it's gonna be a while. So, first off, if you're following in your bulletins, you're gonna start from the beginning, from the top. Phone's gonna crash. Trying to get to the beginning. First up, Luther Alexander. He's talking Neo Dragon, and he claims that Neo has coward's blood, and he's genetically inferior.
It's true.
And
it's true.
That all of Neo's success came with Luther Alexander. So he says that he's going to take him places he doesn't want to go. That he's the underdog, and it's all going down to Mexico. It's fitting, he says, and we'll see where that goes.
Will Neo Dragon take on the Donkey Show while in Mexico?
Man, he's been to Mexico.
Was his donkey?
Is it what?
It was his donkey. Do they have donkeys in Japan?
No, they have. I'm not. I don't know. I mean, they give donkeys everywhere. I mean, I guess they could import them.
Who's the importer? Who is the importer of donkeys for Japan?
I don't know.
Because the only Japanese donkey I know is Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they have donkeys. They just have horses.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't know enough about donkeys. I thought they were from the Middle East originally, but they're in Spain too.
I thought there was camels in the Middle East.
I thought they had donkeys too.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that Jesus rode into town on a donkey. So.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
Okay, that's good. I need someone to talk to me about where donkeys came from. Because mules are donkeys and horses.
But isn't a mule a jackass?
Yes. They're also sterile.
Are they?
They are.
Like on purpose?
Well, because they're a hybrid. They're sterile.
So you can't breed donkeys?
You can breed donkeys, but you can't. The only way to breed a mule would be you have to have a donkey and a horse.
And they have to do it?
Oh, that's how babies are made, yeah. Like, is this something new? Like, you didn't realize this before?
You're blowing my mind right now. So, what you're saying is, right, a mule is a half donkey, half horse. Then what the fuck's a zebra?
It's a completely different species.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like a lion and a tiger.
Well, yeah, no, they're different.
Right. But a zebra is in Africa.
Can you ride a zebra?
You could try. I don't think they make very good they're not domesticated like that.
How come?
I just don't think they make good mounts. Like, they're not very big. I don't think they're very strong.
You ever had that zebra gum?
I do.
How come the flavor disappears so quickly? I don't understand.
I don't know either. Because they wanted you to buy more gum.
I'm saying, if someone came up with a long-lasting zebra fruit striped gum, they'd be a billionaire. I'd buy it.
You just can't. It's not scientifically possible.
When did you become a scientist?
I'm just saying, I don't think it's scientifically possible. Prove me wrong.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I think you're wrong.
You can put a man on the moon. You can't extend the flavor on fruit striped gum. Are you serious? Conspiracy.
Sometimes you can't do anything. There's things you can't do. Right?
That's fair.
Matter cannot be created or destroyed. The intense flavor of zebra striped gum cannot be extended past a certain threshold, or you would die. Maybe it would kill you.
It's too much flavor.
Too much flavor. Too much.
Darren, yes, I'm slightly aware that zebras are not donkeys. So what does zebra get to like? So did a horse fuck a tiger? And that's how it got its stripes?
Hey, now you're just being ridiculous. There's no possible. That's not it. That doesn't make sense.
First of all, it's 2022. Anything's possible if you dream big enough.
I don't like your dreams. They're pretty disturbing.
Would you watch a film of a donkey having sex with a tiger?
I would. I don't think that. No. I'm going to go ahead and just.
Is that something I can find on LimeWire, you think?
Don't do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a crime.
Is it?
So, it should be.
It's not a war crime, right?
I mean, I don't know. Are the tigers making war on the zebras? The tigers and zebras don't.
I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why people in ancient times didn't ride hordes of zebras to attack their foes.
Because horses were just better.
The zebra?
Yeah, and think about it. And then they had camels too.
Didn't Spartans ride zebras?
No. You're not even making any sense.
What are you talking about?
Spartans didn't even ride horses. Why would they ride zebras?
Because they're faster and look.
No, you're wrong. Completely wrong. Zebras. If zebras could be domesticated, they would have been, and they weren't.
What the fuck's a giraffe then?
I don't know. You can't domesticate them either.
You can't? People tried?
I just don't. What use would they have? Like, if I had to choose between an elephant and a giraffe, I'm obviously choosing an elephant.
Giraffes are fast.
I think not. But I'm not trying to get speed, and I can't ride it.
You wouldn't ride a giraffe if you could?
No.
So how come they can own toy stores? I don't understand.
Well, anybody can do anything in America. Yeah.
That's true.
But obviously they're bankrupt, so.
Well, I heard giraffes don't want to grow up. They just, want to be a kid.
I don't know. That sounds wrong, but.
O.J. Simpson used to have his own drink shop in the mall. No.
Orange Julius?
Yeah.
I don't think by
do we not think that O.J. Simpson was affiliated with Orange Julius?
I don't. He was affiliated with Herc.
No, it was O.J. Simpson and Dr. J. Look it up.
I'm not gonna look that up.
Orange Julius.
Doesn't make any sense.
What are you talking about? You didn't tell me in your local mall there wasn't an Orange Julius?
I don't remember if there's. I think there might have been.
Yeah, the Annie Ann's though, right?
Yeah, and a Sbarro.
Luke, how old are you?
How old am I? I'm 37.
Yeah, so you might be a little young for Orange. Orange Julius was a really, really big thing in the early 80s. And then it became like a food court kind of thing after that.
It was delicious.
I know Julius. They had them, but they weren't. Yeah, like they weren't.
Yeah,
they were in the mall.
They used to be like sit down places, like where you could go sit down. It's not just like at a food court. But yeah, O.J. Simpson did the commercials. She was the first spokesperson for them.
See, I told you.
Oh, whatever. Did you guys have TCPY yogurt?
Yes.
That was good. Frozen yogurt.
That's the first time I had gummy bears on anything.
Strange.
Ridiculous.
You know why they can't sell Dippin' Dots in stores?
Because it's like crack?
Well, no, because they went all in on like that frozen nitrogen. So you have to have like special holding things for it. Why would you? It's bizarre. Like they staff lost so much money because they wanted to go that special way. But I guess that's what makes Dippin' Dots.
That's fair. That's fair. What are those things that you can buy like in those vending machines? Those ice creams. I've never had one myself.
Dipping Dots.
Are those the ones from the vending machines?
Yeah, they have them in the mall.
They were famously represented in the early days of AEW because of the brawling backstage. The Dipping Dots wagon got wiped out.
Weren't they originally created for astronauts?
Maybe.
I don't think so. There wouldn't be room for them.
Did they put Dippin' Dots in MREs, Luke?
How would that even work?
I don't know. You tell me.
It wouldn't work at all? There's no way to make them cold.
I don't know about all that.
Are you eating again, Alan?
Matt's eating like popcorn right now. I don't know what he's doing.
Yes, sir. You're ready for another lesson, ball. All right.
The hell is that?
I don't know.
That was the O.J. Simpson Orange Julius commercial.
See? It's a real thing. I bet you Johnny B used to drink a lot of Orange Julius. Did you know that Dairy Queen bought the rights of Orange Julius? And in some select locations, you can get an Orange Julius from Dairy Queen. They're very prevalent. They're very prevalent in Florida.
I remember that they had combo Dairy Queen and Orange Julius in the mall. I do remember that.
Yeah. Well, I went to Daytona Beach a couple years back. I had me an Orange Julius.
Oh.
No, I can't wait till I do my next TT and it's gonna have Luther drinking an Orange Julius.
On the beach in Daytona?
Probably. Let's see.
You can drive on the beach in Daytona.
Can you?
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, who you got next to TT wise?
Oh, are we still doing that?
I think it's still a thing. Oh my God!
What? What just happened?
Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh, I can't wait. I'll give everyone a sneak peek of my next TT coming up right now.
Oh, no.
This is live, folks. This is live. There's probably some people out there like really mad that we're not talking about their IWL TT right now. I'm real upset.
Well.
There's important things to discuss.
Yeah. Donkey show, zebra. Is there a zebra show? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been there.
I'd like everyone to check their screen live. Look what I found.
Is that Sylvester Stallone?
Yes!
Are you guys talking about
my
monkeys and
God.
zebras?
Now we can find Sylvester Stallone fondling zebras. Truly.
I got Sylvester Stallone in front of an Orange Julius.
Luther Alexander gets around.
It sure does.
Marketing. Branding.
Where's this at?
The picture? It's on the left.
Yeah, where'd you put?
It's
It's on the
my-
right side.
right side. Right above Pamela Anderson running in slow motion.
Yeah.
Right underneath the guy wrestling Ted the Wrestling Bear.
I see. He said
Ted throws him down, man. Ted ain't fooling around. Is that Mean Gene reading Penthouse?
It sure is.
Good for him. Wow. Oh.
Oh man! All right, so are we still doing DTs here or what? What are we doing?
Yes.
Are we talking about two-way petting zoo?
That's right.
We go both ways. It's 2022, so it's all good.
Yeah, two-way petting zoo. You pet the animals, they pet you back.
There you go. Something for the dads. Yeah, Luke, what's up with the TT and the IWL?
I told you there wasn't anything. That's why we're still on time. But if we want to keep going, next up is Ricky Spanish. He's talking about how Deadeye and Black have chosen violence, and they've given him the right to do whatever he wants to do to them. So, whatever horrors that he can imagine he's going to inflict on them at Wrestle Riot. And there's also some poetry that he wrote. It was real sweet.
Real sweet.
I like that. Real sweet. Real sweet. And then we have the Dog Family. What is TBA BIT? That's a stable, right? What does it stand for?
The boys are back in town.
That's just a lot.
Alex has decided to allow stable initials, apparently.
That's not true. Don't even start that rumor.
You're not allowed stable initials. Because 4-H Rex Chambers is banned. Anyway, but the dog, I don't know if the Dog Family is teaching or if Johnny or if Joe Boring is teaching.
Matt, you have an inside track to Joe Boring. What's going on with this?
I'm not sure, but I would say that whoever the Boys Are Back in Town manager is, I know they are friends with Joe Boring, so they are probably going to come in. If it means something exciting and new for Joe Boring, I'm all for it.
Agreed.
So.
Welcome.
I'm excited. So yeah, the Dog Family's here. I'm sure we'll get introduced. It's 6 of them, so that should be interesting. Next up is Ollie Atari, Lady Xanadu. Man, she's
Matt, did Xanadu get reduction surgery or not?
No, she just wears tighter bras.
Oh, good for her. Triple G's.
Ollie Atari is going. It congratulates Achilles Leos on winning his first IWL league title.
What was that? You cut out.
Is this Achilles Leos' first IWL title?
I believe so, yes.
His first ever. Good for him.
Yeah, great.
He's from Greece, right?
Yes.
He's
really from Greece?
Yeah, he's the Greek freak.
Oh, okay.
What's the difference between like regular yogurt and Greek yogurt?
Greek yogurt doesn't have like as much sugar and fat. I know because I had.
Is it goat's milk?
I don't know, but it has no fat in it or less fat.
Are those the yogurts that Jamie Lee Curtis pitches on TV?
Activia.
Activia yogurts are not the same.
Oh. Makes you poop.
Does it?
Yeah.
Activia does, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yogurt in general is supposed to be good for your stomach.
Okay.
Makes you regular.
She had big ass titties.
Who did?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Wasn't that in Trading Places?
It was.
Good movie.
It is a good movie.
Who's the guy wrestling the bear in the top right?
There's some dude wrestling a bear. I'm pretty sure that's Luther now. I don't know who that is.
Can you put anything on here?
Yes.
It's just fantastic. It's the best thing I've ever seen. This collection of videos is the best thing I've ever seen.
Where is this at? Is this in the YouTube chat?
Yeah.
I can't see any of it.
You've got Cobra, Sylvester Stallone. You got Akeem and Slick dancing around. You got the Lex Luger Playgirl. Mean treating reading a Penthouse. A guy wrestling a bear. Sylvester Stallone hawking Orange Julius. Baywatch. Like, the mind that had to come up with this.
This is like basically what's going on in my head right now. Like perpetually in my head.
Is that My Two Dads in the left?
It is. Underrated show, by the way. All right, Luke, you can continue.
I don't even know. Oh, we're talking about being regular. We're talking about Ali Atari.
Atari and his Greek yogurt.
Yeah, and Johnny B. Cup. So about we already know what happens with the Johnny B. Cup.
Do you have Johnny B. results?
Yes. The Johnny B. Cup results came down to Atari hit a 494, Punk Rock Mike hit a 497, and Flash Jack Ferdinand hit a 500. So he has now won the All Rookie Cup, Bound for Glory, and the Johnny B. Cup. So if he wins the Summer Series, he'll hit a Grand Slam. Wow. Which has never been done.
So, but yeah, so all this talk from Ali Atari, none of it matters. And then he also talked shit about freaking Rex Chambers, and he's also looking for
Ravishing Rex Chambers.
Yes, Ravishing Rex Chambers. He's also looking for an opponent, so we'll see if anybody steps up into that. Next up, we have U.S. Male. So he talks about winning the LA title and winning the Rumble. Talks about his pinning litigation between X3M and Rosanna, who's been quiet lately. And he also takes a dig at the Grady's, talking about his other litigation that he's handled with litigation. So next up, we have Barry Takeney Stevens. So he talks a little bit about Rod Camino, his upcoming challenger. Then he goes into some hot button issues, talks about social dystopia, and then finishes up with Russell Riot. I also like to point out that he said that he needs a shock to the system, and he, so he may have instigated the recent Supreme Court rulings. So when Dad goes wrong, it's Barry Stevens' fault. Vaughn Snop, they take the time to run down the regulators who they've got their number on. They've kind of moved on for now, and they congratulate the Graces on their victory and defeating the White Claw Outlaws. So, they're real nice guys. Living their crazy ass dad. So, do you think that Victor Von Snap knows the age of consent in every?
Yeah.
Guy that he does, he's pretty strict about it. Like,
Victor Von Schnapp, loose generation of his character is that I used to have a running gag about wanting to do a show, like when they're doing reality shows first getting popular, and the idea was to do a show called Who Wants to Have My Kid? And the idea was to impregnate a woman in every state, and if she had twins naturally, she got like $1 million bonus. And that's kind of where Victor Von Schnapp came along, except Victor just went around the world, and the idea was to, this is part of a top secret, it was a role-playing game, but I made a villain who would go around the world and have like a child with every kind of like culture. So wherever country you went to, one of his disciple children led a cult. And that was kind of Victor Von Schnapp, like the idea, he's just like this lecherous old man who just banged his way around the world. And he's actually very broke because he lives through his kids because he has so much alimony to pay. Poor Victor.
Then, for some reason, the author of Agony, LePage Turner, the IWAR champion, is here to gloat. And he just runs down, various members of the IWL's roster. So, I'm not sure why he's allowed to, spew his hatred, but,
LePage Turner is the IWAR world champion.
He is not.
Wait, you see what he says this month. Dick move, bro.
Ulysses Deadeye. I have no idea what's.
You don't want to know.
Okay.
Proceed.
That the three-way war with Spanish and Atticus would be a career-defining match, but neither of them will like what's going to happen. So, sounds like it's going to be pretty nasty. Damien Killswitch basically isn't afraid of Cutter Carver and tells him to come and find him. And Shotgun Kid is going to get what's coming to him. Lone Star Redneck gets his revenge on Revolution Extreme by attacking him with brass knuckles and gives them all three. So this is Luther Alexander, James Carnage, and Johnny Vegas. He gives them a redneck bottle opener. So he gets his revenge.
Well, he's gonna have to answer for that. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. So he's putting the bear on that one. And everybody seems to be after Lone Star Redneck. We have Hunter Callahan calling out Racer, as he calls him, McNick. He's ready to take up McKay's call out and ask how freaking McKay can be the legend killer when he has no legend of his own. Next up, we have Eunuch Mateo. He lays out his love for the Kardashians, Ariana Grande, Amy Linsett, and then he talks about his history with Atticus Black. And also, Eunuch Mateo. Eunuch Mateo. Be perfect the pronunciation for everyone. Wonderful. Next up, Cutter Carver attacks Damien Killswitch, says Killswitch's order has started something and that blood will spill. So, what order is he a part of? Does anyone know? Because I was confused by that.
The New World?
So, Damien Killswitch. No, not the New World Order. I don't know. I don't know what order we're talking about, but okay.
Is he a Freemason?
Maybe. He's a Shriner. He does like the circus, like clowns.
That's weird.
Maybe Cutter Carver doesn't like clowns. Yeah. So next up, I have Atticus Black, who agrees to the parking lot brawl against Spanish and Deadeye. He's looking forward to the pain. He has no fear of what's going to happen. So this is going to be a pretty crazy match. It's definitely going to be a bloodbath. We also have an encounter where the lights go out on Deadeye, and he calls out Atticus, and then Atticus appears in front of him in the ring. Lights go out again, and Ricky Spanish appears behind him. He holding light. What are those things called? Friggin' light tubes. So he tries to hit.
Fluorescent light tubes?
Yeah, hitting Atticus Black, and he knocks out with the spinning back fist. So Ricky Spanish is left standing tall. But we'll see what happens.
Not for nothing. These guys are doing a fantastic job. Prior to this, Ricky Spanish was basically a henchman. You know what I mean? And these guys are going to be responsible for Ricky Spanish being a huge single star. So thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Big Bad Bob is happy to be a champion again, and he thinks his Bob backers. Bob backers.
Oh boy,
that's good. I like that.
Crusher Vicious says that every idiot in the IWA has come to the IWL, which is actually true. And I guess that includes himself, which is weird, but whatever. Crusher is looking to take out his frustrations on said idiot. So next up, we have Megan Winslow, who is the representative for the Eraser. The Eraser wants Barry Stevens to know that the Eraser is now more caring and enjoys wrestling more because of him. Basically, he likes what Barry does, and he respects it. So that's what's going on with that. So the Eraser speaks for the first time, though it's through a representative. What his ties are to Barry Stevens, we'll learn more about him in the coming weeks and months. So, there's some stats. Next up, we have the IWL Tag Team Champions, the Demolition Crew. They let the Wrecking Ball SWAT team, that's their next challenger, know that they're going to fall short of perfection. That is the Demolition Crew. Next up, we have Ravishing Rex Chambers. He continues his assault on jobbers, taking Ali Atari's advice to start at the bottom. He talks about the fact that he's in the Best of the Best 7 tournament, and he says that he's going to beat Racer McKay. So many words. Second generation basically calls out the entire tag division. They said that they're heating up for the summer, and they call out in specific the Regulators, Black Bag Robinson, and Shotgun James Carnage. Next up, we have Free Quebec, who are calling out new additions to the 6-man division, Death Leprechaun. And Miss Q does hint at singles runs, but we'll see if that actually is going to happen. She says that they would dominate if they were singles wrestlers. For now, they're focused. Next up, we have X3M. She threatens U.S. Mail. That sexist bastard. And she also is, she wants to support commissioners. So, I don't know if she's just an ass or what, but there's that. Then we have Stevie Vertigo. So, he is wrestling in Omaha at a bar. And almost like a stream of consciousness. And he has visions that include Luther Alexander, O.J. Simpson, Neo Dragon, Senior Lucia. So what's going on with him? So he's traveling across the country with the Samoan SWAT team, his manager, Kayla. Is it Kyla or Kayla? Kyla, right?
Yes.
Queen Kyla, yeah.
Queen Kyla. And O.J. Simpson, and he's kind of losing his mind. Pretty crazy.
He almost got set on fire, so.
What happened?
Happens.
And we have the Warped Offensive History, WOH. That include Eric Philmonte and Honestly Brutal Abe. And Enric evidently drinks piss water. This guy's.
Does he?
I mean, that's what I think.
Can't you like take piss and like get the urine out of it and then drink it like as a thing if you're like stranded on a desert island or something?
I mean,
Luke, you know, you've drank urine before.
I have not.
You're in the military. You must drink piss all the time.
I don't drink piss all ever. But yeah,
you can buy a portable water filter that'll filter it out, but it's still going to taste nasty.
That's fair.
Like ammonia in it and stuff. So yeah, it's not a preferable thing to drink.
It's good for you.
No, not at all. Not in any way, shape. Matter of fact, it's purely waste. So it's not good for you at all. It will keep you hydrated for a short period of time, I think. California Gunslinger talks about his past and possible future with Lone Star Redneck who burned his face. That's why he has to wear his mask. So.
Yep.
His movie star good looks. Ruined.
Yeah, ruined. The industry still they're coming next cycle. They're going to be there in July. So they've been PTing everywhere for 3 months. So Rod talks his title match and talks about Barry Stevens, and Dave Decision calls out the Chameleon. So not the only one to call out the Chameleon this cycle either. So evidently people have it out for the Chameleon.
Well, he deserves it.
He does. I agree.
He does. Next up, we have Neo Dragon. He goes on outside the ring with Misty Hyatt, and she confronts him about kind of dodging Luther. And they get in a heat argument, and Dragon storms off the set. So, that one's going on. with Neo Dragon and Luther Alexander, and I'm sure we'll find out more. And see if they will end up having a match at Mexico. Next up is Racer McKay. So he asked the commissioner for a three-way between him, Redneck, and Callahan. He calls Callahan a thug and Redneck a mystery who will pad his resume. And he wants to go after Chameleon as well. So everybody has eyes on Chameleon, like I said. Next up, the Chameleon continues his assault and he attacks Achilles Leos, who just won the IWAR League Championship. He tattoos a lion on Achilles Leo's Achilles. With the help of Sammy Lee, his wife. And goads on Racer McKay. He wants Racer McKay to come at him. So, Patriot, Christian Patriot, excuse me, American Patriot and Christian Warrior go over their resume, line of rookies who they're messing with, and call them out to give them a challenge. And last but certainly not least, the IWAR Tag Team Champions, Amazing Graces, have Litigation read a prepared statement for them. The big news is that Pop Crackle Bun Snap is coming to the IWL, and they are calling Victor to come out and meet his one of his children, and we'll see if Victor shows up. But I'm really excited for Pop Crackle on Snap to make their appearance in the IWL. I think that'll be great. So that is everything going down in the IWL, and next cycle will be the results for Wrestle Riot. That'll be interesting to see.
Yes, so Wrestle Riot will play next cycle. So buckle up for that, folks. It's going to be fantastic. And again, once we get the results, please, if you want to contribute, please do your match write-ups, because I ain't doing them. The match write-ups the matches that don't have write-ups will be quote-unquote a dark match.
Dark match. Featuring QT Marshall.
Yeah. I dig that. Next up, BWL.
BWL. All right,
what's going down in the BWL?
Well, Black Widow League. Let me pull it up. This is our third tour, so thanks to everyone who got involved, and it's growing steadily. We've only lost. I remember when the concept of the tour came out. Instead of using the term cycle, I do enjoy that. Wouldn't use it myself for my league, but I do like the concept of it. No, it is what
it is. It's exactly what it is.
You call it a round, but I think tour is cool. Whatever. Yeah. So this is the third cycle, third tour, if you will. The big news might be in Suplex announcing that their first pay-per-view name will be, thanks to Scott, Where the Boys Aren't.
Yes.
So, thank you, Adult Industry, once again coming through for us. The global. What's that?
When is that going to happen at pay-per-view?
I think we're settling on cycle 7. We're building up to it pretty steadily. It's actually kind of funny as I go through this little review. I'll talk about how some of the matches are starting to form up. Might be sooner than later. I got to talk to Mike about that. I was hoping Mike would be on tonight, but Mike's not here today. But we're banging out a couple of things, and there's certain things we know we're going to have Betty Red defending against Shiloh Wallace, but I want to set up some of the other rivalries because we got some forming ones. So. The Global Contenders Bracket, the matches are for it next cycle, so it's going to every other cycle. We're kind of building up to it. Let's see here. So, going right along. Gina Colada, the queen, isn't thrilled about her responsibilities of being queen. Took her loss to Veruca Salt pretty hard, but doesn't seem to understand that Penny Punk can repeatedly calling her out and thinks that she's hitting on her. That she's calling her out to challenge her, so she thinks Penny Punk has a crush on her.
Hey, it happens.
That the best. So, and Gina's a switch hitter, so she's all about that. Oprah Freeman interview. Now, a reminder, Mike does a interview segment every month, every cycle tour. and it's with Betty. It's with Oprah Freeman. And what you do is you get these 10 questions, you answer them, and depending which ones you answer, you're going to earn some imaginary cash for your wrestler. So this cycle was Betty the New, and talked about, not looking for allies or alliances, just all about individual performance and being the best. The Perfect 10 tournament began, and as a quick review, there's the brackets matching up, all the wrestlers are in it. And the way it works is if wrestler A is fighting wrestler B, the first wrestler out of those two to earn 10 points in victories, whether it takes one match, as we had 3 people win their first round matches in one cycle, or if it happens over 10 cycles. It's like everyone's kind of waiting for it to happen. So it's a new contest. So we're rolling out some new innovative contests in the game, if you will. Rain Grady calls out Tiamat, who came to her hometown looking for her in Beaver County, and she talks about might be a rookie, but she's going to take it to the, quote, crusty veteran. Crusty.
That's fair.
Crusty. Does remark that the address of the Grady farm is on every bucket of Aunt Betsy's fried pig parts. And it's
you ever had pig's feet?
No.
Luke, you've had pig feet.
I've seen them. We have a store up here called Super 88. Do you have those down there?
No.
Super 88's like an Asian market, but it's a chain of them up here. And there's also H Mart, which is like the bigger, like Walmart version of an Asian market. So you go in there, and like one side of the store is like pig's feet, testicles, like all kinds of random stuff, eel, and the other side's luggage. It's just bizarrely random, but it's a nice little store.
I feel like Scott has eaten some pig's feet in his day. Maybe pickled.
He's thinking about it.
It's true.
We did go to a Piggly Wiggly when we lived together in Georgia, and Mark Martin was the driver for Piggly Wiggly at the time. Anyways, so just to make sure T-Matt doesn't forget where to find her, she takes her address, writes it on a piece of paper, and then stabs a knife and like leaves it on top turnbuckle so she can find it.
T-Matt should be in prison.
Yeah, Rain Grady should be in prison. Rachel Van Dorn makes fun of Aria Gunpowder's Nightfall movie, not saying how terrible it was, talks about winning the TV title and being cute and tough. She's big on social media, so it's kind of like very like, a lot of like pictures and photos. And we had mentioned there was a contest to see who would take out. Now, one of the players had to take a break, and the wrestler was the Mangler Marjorie Brocious. So I said, whoever can come up with the most clever, fun way to take out Marjorie Brocious is going to win. So we actually had 2 entries. I thought we had more. We had 2 entries. So the first one was Rachel Van Dorn, who takes Marjorie Brocious to the gym and tries to teach her how to twerk for a TikTok video. But in the process to do it, she rips her gluteus muscles, and she's out for 6 to 9 months. So I was like, that's pretty good. That's something you see happen all the time. There's actually a funny video on TikTok of a woman who's about to sing, and she goes a step back to like start singing, and she walks into her bed frame and like goes, ah! And people just like beat the shit out of that. So next up, Beulah Booger runs into her mom. They talk about the prize-winning piglet and how she's really trying to make a name for herself. Decides to go on a road trip with Zuckaroo Zebop. But Zuckaroo decides, we're going to take a road trip. We're going to steal Ava Von Snop, Ava the announcer, Ava Von Snop's car. And on the way, she runs over. Well, first she hits her, then she runs over again. Marjorie Brocious with the car twice. So now we have two options. So what? The reason I put this contest out there is back when I played the game back in '88 or was it '87. One of the leagues I went to, this guy and his friend decided to stop their tag team, and they both wrote them out, but they didn't talk to each other. So you had this thing where like one guy was like, the brothers were in a terrible car accident and were killed, and the other was like, they were in a terrible plane crash and were killed. So I thought it was very amusing that like, it was like multiple write-offs. So what we'll do is we'll have a contest. I'll put it online, or I'll make a vote, and we'll vote which I think is a better injury process to go out: twerking or being hit by a car, a la Jerry Lawler style. Next up, we have Aria Gunpowder, reminding everyone she's focused on winning. She's not interested in playing the good girl just to make others look good, so that's kind of a hint at a bad side. The Willowick Combat Club announces they will soon announce the newest member, which will join Gina Colada. So who would that be? Tune in. Black Widow, no, not the league, the wrestler, which I had more people say to me, wait, so the wrestler's called Black Widow? Like, yes. It's not mine.
That's fair.
Hey. It's like if someone had like, I'm the WWE Universe, the wrestler. Okay. She wants a piece of Betty Than You, who kind of hinted that maybe in another universe, another world, they'd be best friends, but in this one, they're going to be enemies. Huntress wants to destroy Zoe Pescadora. She just hates her. Meanwhile, Zoe talks about the word of sin, Jared sin, and says, kind of paraphrasing here, just basically, don't be greedy, don't hog it all, but win what you can. Then we have Meat Train, claims that Addison Killswitch wears a mask made of tampons and toothpicks. Got some beef here, folks. So that's, again, Meat Train. Addison Killswitch kind of wears like a mask, kind of like, what's his name? Mustafa Ali. So maybe, I don't know if his mask is made out of tampons, but,
might be.
Find out. Could be. Yeah. Tie-in, like, I don't even know, like, OB, is that like, whatever, anyways. Spitfire Jeannie Briggs, who is not cosplaying as Attaché from Glow, but she looks a lot like her, says she's working on becoming the IWAR Women's World Champion, so that's her big inspiration. Vicky Venom recognizes the various personalities in the BWL, but she wants to the rest of them to acknowledge her. And can I say, I think my favorite recent phrase in wrestling, one of them, I don't really like WWE at all, but I like acknowledge me as the most obnoxious, like, just like, go to work. I want you to acknowledge me.
Like 5 years ago, like we did a whole show on how we thought Roman Reigns should turn heel, and we were right.
We were right. Just don't look at the other shows.
Which is the coldest take you could ever have, because I think everyone was saying the same thing.
Yeah. Speaking of old takes, old shows, Johnny B told me that he actually has hard copies of my original IWA Tubecast shows from like 2012. So I'm gonna try to figure a way to get those from him and
post
them up. And I mean, I remember like at least two of them had people who were drunk on them, so they're probably pretty terrible. But
we clean them up.
I'm just gonna post them. I don't care. They're terrible. All right. So Wildfire Betty Red reminds everyone that she and her sister Jane established the women's division. They're the biggest names in the women's division. She is a global champion. She kind of talks a little bit about her defense against Shiloh Wallace coming at Where the Boys Aren't Won. Shiloh Wallace herself talks about Betty Red's accomplishments and how much she's done, and why that woman's going to be so big to her. And she wants Betty fully healthy. No shenanigans, no sneak attacks, no excuses when she beats her. And she expects a handshake after she wins. Every time I see this name, I think it says sensual, not sensational prodigy, Callie Kimura. She's a sensual prodigy. She challenges Rain Grady. Wants a clean battle of respect. Will it happen? Rain Grady's got a lot on her plate right now. I keep wanting to say Wayne Brady, but I know it's Rain. Oh shit, it's Rain Grady. Addison Killswitch. I just snapshotted this TT from her. I'm not looking big. I'm looking big picture. And the story I see is, quote, Addison Killswitch beats the meat. And then moves on to her. It moves on to her. Now she's feuding with Meat Train. We're setting up that feud. Another flavor of the month for BWL. Maybe Betty Than You. Maybe Thought the Mangler. Maybe that Big Mouth Penny. We shall see. But trust me, Meaty, our story is set to begin to unfold. The plot is being written as they speak. And I just love that she worked Beat the Meat in there. Reminds me of the old Dusty Rhodes commercial. We have another Catfish Rob Award winner here as Junico Mateo. His IWL TT shows up here. So I think what happens is possibly we realize that Junico Mateo and Addison Killswitch are the same player. So that could be. Some people are secretive about who they run in like the leagues. Like, oh,
that's weird.
Dude, it's the IWA. Of course, it's weird.
Monster Truck Tanaka.
The Love Glove. We have a request to free R. Kelly. 30 years in jail for R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Drip, drip, drip. Any Dave Chappelle fans will get that one. Penny Punk gloats about Gina Colada's losing the IWAR title shot to Veruca Salt, boasts of her own near miss for the IWAR title, but her main goal is to get Gina in the ring and destroy her with her Bush Buster. That's right.
What?
Her Bush Buster.
Okay.
She's patient and wait for a chance to get what she wants. Penny Punk bringing really quality promos to the league. So thank you, Penny Punk. Riley Reynolds, more good quality TT. Not a fan favorite by any means. She talks up the title shot and Veruca Salt coming up to her at the Where the Boys Aren't pay-per-view. As soon as I get that date nailed down, I'll let you guys know, because I know we're only about 26 wrestlers, 27 wrestlers. We are starting to form up like some rivalries. And just because we have no singles titles doesn't mean we can't have tag or six-man matches, or six-woman matches, say trios.
Wait. Can you go ahead and touch on Dave the Decision's comments?
I was about to say the worst of all is the full-page rant by Dave Wazlowski. So I don't know if either he copied and pasted and didn't go through or what, but there is an entire page in the bulletin, and on the top it says Dave, like he's about to speak, and there's nothing in the whole page. And all I could think of is like one of those things where it's like beep 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 beep, like just.
Remember that time I censored my entire TT by putting fucking black lines through it all, so you can see what it was. So that was funny.
Hey, IWAR will print pretty much anything, so at your own risk, folks. But yeah, I laughed because at first we're like, what happened? Then we were like in our heads making up like, well, what could have happened? Could it be his mic went dead? Like he cuts a promo, the mic's dead the whole time, and just instead of saying like, give me a new mic, just cuts the promo and then leaves. Like, that's fine. Starfall Tigress complains about losing to Penny Punk, Aria Gunpowder, and Rachel Van Dorn, and claiming that they all cheated and that they'll pay for their treacherous ways, which I kind of like, because I thought Starfall Tigress was going to be like this babyface, like generic masked character, and now she's kind of a dick. So it's like, that's cool. Betty Then You brags about building her name not through cheap gimmicks or embarrassing behavior, but by winning the top titles. And as a side note, this cycle coming up, we're going to reveal the BWL rankings when it comes to the IWAR standard of rankings. So it'll be like the rankings page of BRL, IWL, NWL, BWL. But as an added thing, on the lower part of the rankings page, we have like the all-time leaders for like BRL and IWL and NWL. We have added the IWAR women's all-time rankings. So, for example, this listing right now currently has the all-time leader in women's points is Sasha.
Still?
So, yeah, 250. And Becky North is second. But there's, some of the names you might recognize in there. So, just kind of a way to like a nod to our long history with some of the women wrestlers in the IWAR. So that's going to be in this issue coming up. Then we get a phenomenal TT with Tiamat, and she goes to a diner. She tells people to kiss her grits. She looks at Mel, and she gets married to him. Maybe that's Alice, but
that is Alice.
That was Alice. No, there's no kissing.
What is that a reference?
It's a reference to Alice because I'm old, and Alex will get it.
I watch a lot of TV.
It was a rerun. It was a show about a woman who worked at a diner in like Texas or something like that. And
her catchphrase was "Kiss my grits."
One of her coworkers, yeah, I don't remember her name. It was "Kiss her grits" catchphrase. Anyways, another top quality promo by Luke here. Tiamat goes into a diner looking for Rain Grady.
Excuse me. Her name was Florence Jean Castleberry.
He's got one now. The redhead, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because who was the one that starred in the show? Not Valerie Bertinelli. I'm getting her confused with somebody else.
Linda Lavin.
That's the one. I could see it. And was it her son, like Christy McNichol's brother or something like that?
No, the your plan is a Facts of Life.
Oh, all right. Anyway, I remember I wasn't a big fan of that show.
Facts of Life?
No, Facts of Life. I remember Tootie I had a crush on Tootie.
Did you?
I did.
I was a Natalie
Not Blair.
man. I was
No.
a Natalie man
Judy.
myself.
You were a fan of who?
Yeah,
I said I was a Natalie man myself. So
No.
the shows that zebras in them.
where?
What was it?
Like
The one that took care of all the girls. She was on Different Strokes to begin with.
Mrs. Garrett.
Mrs. Garrett. That's who I enjoy.
Tootie. Okay, well, getting back to the promo here, which I was enjoyable, because what I like about the promo is it's not just multi-layered, but it has secrets that get revealed. Do you want to discuss this, Luke, because you wrote it?
No.
Yeah, I can do that, since you don't. Okay, so she what's her name? Tiamat is meeting Aunt Betsy. So she was looking. So Silas goes and tells that the Grady's about Tiamat, and so Aunt Betsy is meeting with Tiamat because she's there to kind of suss out what Tiamat wants with Rain, and we come to find out that Aunt Betsy isn't just like some old lady on a farm. She's actually a wrestler in Japan. She was a monster heel before she settled down. So she is basically here to make sure that Tiamat is not going to try to screw over her granddaughter, and she wants to protect her. And so basically they kind of come to an agreement that it's like above board. Like Tiamat just wants to have a fair fight, and so that's what they kind of do. So basically they kind of have a little bit of a heart-to-heart as much as they can. They're both kind of like tough women, but basically they come to an understanding, and Aunt Betsy is not necessarily be protective of Rain, but she wants to make sure that she doesn't get screwed over in her first match in the BWL, because this is her first time in the business, and Aunt Betsy knows that the wrestling business be kind of screwy. So what happens?
I think my favorite part of the TT was how Tiamat recognized the finisher that Aunt Betsy used in Japan and that Rain uses now. It's a nice connection. So again, talking about likely booking up the pay-per-view of Where the Boys Aren't, it's likely Tiamat versus Rain Grady will be a thing. So that's the promos in the BWL cycle, and I thank everybody who contributed. It helps when you call people out or attack them or what have you.
Cast a wide net.
Yeah, see what you can get going. What? Meow. Cat's mad at me. I think we have a lot to offer, and we had some new faces show up. So that thank you for joining those who joined us. It's good to see that, and the competition is pretty good. Like last cycle, Penny Punk almost won the IWA Women's Championship. So we're getting close. I think we'll see some breakthroughs pretty soon. So good luck to all there. Alex, do you dig that?
I sure do.
Don't dig it yet. How many women are in the active in the BWL right now?
Active in the BWL right now, there are 26 wrestlers.
How many of those people TT?
How many TT'd? Let me look at my sheet here. I'll tell you. What did I do with it? There it is. 1, 2. About 23.
So basically, like there's almost you could have everybody can have a match on that. Everybody can have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I might do is, because what I see a lot of people doing right now is doing kind of like I'm challenging anyone, or like Rob always and Tim do this a lot. Is like they'll challenge anybody, and what I find is just an open challenge isn't much of challenge, unless you say something like, I'm going to put blank amount of money on the line, or I'm going to put whatever on the line. So when it comes to that, you're much better off just going directly at somebody and saying, I'm challenging you for this reason. And that could be just a matter of trying to prove respect or earn clout, whatever. But just open challenges don't, because as a booker, if you will, as the commissioner, like Mike and I look at it and go, well, who do you want to fight? Now, what we could do is take those two guys who have open challenges and just put you in a match together. We are leaning towards doing at least one tag match and 1 6-man, just kind of break it up. And then when we write these out, there'll be more hijinks involved. But I think with this a very good crop. We got global championship, IWAR championship. We're working at establishing a third championship, so that's going to be in play as well. That might have a stipulation to it, like we were talking about, like something where like that championship is like either like the steel cage championship or some kind of whatever, a certain thing attached to it. But we have plenty of talent, and people are cutting promos, and they're kind of like like Zoe Pescador versus Huntress. Well, they're both talking about each other. They're going to be in a match. There's certain things in here that have kind of storylines, like Rain Grady and Tiamat. There's like building up to it things, and where we go with it really depends on what the players do. But I think we're having a really good turnout. The league is funny because I had a question, and this is a good question to bring up. Veruca Salt asked, "Hey, I retained the IWAR championship. I get 5 free matches because every IWAR champion gets 5 free matches. Well, the IWAR champion gets 20, but the IWAR other titles all get 5 free matches. And those are matches that you won with the championship connected to the BWL. So remember, if you win like a report hit, or if you win free matches in the BWL, like at an event, or if you win a contest, or retain the league championship, got 10 free matches, you can use those in the BWL. Otherwise, we're all in the same exact boat with our 6 matches in a Battle Royal entry. So I just want to make sure everyone knew about that.
Also, if you're trying to find like challengers and people, whatever, we have that chat, like group chat,
Yeah.
Hey, this is who I manage. I'm like, I'm looking for somebody or whatever. Because I mean, it's hard enough to back in the day we were to play by mail, and like you kind of have to call everybody out. You should be casting a wide net, but you also utilize those tools, because sometimes it's a lot easier to say, hey, like I need a match, you need a match, let's build something up, instead of just kind of calling out to the fucking void and hoping somebody calls it. Especially because this is a brand new league. Nobody, there's a few titles here and there, but nobody really has a lot of history, though. Some of the girls from the NWL do, but most other people don't, unless they were in the DRL. So
yeah, so we're always open to ideas too. So if you look at the report, like just came out, Mike started doing his stat stuff. So he's tracking. So you'll have the rankings in the IWAR magazine, which is kind of just based on the same exact rankings as the BRL and IWL. And then there's the rankings Mike set up for the BWL, exclusively just for the BWL, where he kind of ranks it by performance. So it's like your average strat, your stars, your money earned. So it kind of weights it. So it's kind of a better way to see who's really performing the best. But it's just eye candy if you like stats and you like numbers. It's a fun thing to look at too, and that's kind of what we're trying to do with this league, is have kind of both the writing side and also the stats side. So it's a really good sandwich. Hot side hot and the cold side cold. So the McDLT. That's right. I remember those.
You read a salad? Didn't they have a salad?
I don't remember. That was a burger, wasn't it? It was a burger with the lettuces on one side, and the idea was you got it and it was crispy. Then you put it together, it was
Y'all ever had a McTasty?
The hell's a McTasty?
It's a real thing, I think.
You're not making it up.
Pretty much like a McDLT.
Yeah, McDLT.
Yeah, but I said that you wanted to know what a McTasty was.
So it's like a. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just a regional name, maybe.
It's a real thing.
Have you ever had a McD?
I had these nuts.
Oh, damn it.
My favorite question to get asked is, where do you keep your nuts? And it's boom, and then you get walked out.
They did have the shaker salad. Remember those salads?
That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, the shaker salad. I remember those.
I don't know why they got rid of him.
Remember him.
Because it's fucking McDonald's. That's why.
Kill it.
All right, so are we close out BWL?
Yeah, man. I dig that.
Nice.
Next up, BRL. What's going down in the BRL?
Oh, all sorts of things going on in the BRL. Starting off with Dick Jackson's commissioner promo page, and he hints at the IWAR draft coming down the pike, which, hint, hint, it is. I got to start prepping that stuff up pretty quick. He talks about Nick Dane, the winner of the ARC, being drafted to BRL. So we'll get those guys in there pretty soon. So hooray. He also mentions a possible free agent, Outlaw Ron Logan, looking beyond the BRL and the IWAR leagues for possible talent. Which this is, if you're listening to the show or watching and you're like playing one IWAR league, if you're a wrestler in, let's say, like AWL or, I don't know, MEL or something like that.
Or the TDL.
Or the TDL. Which, speaking of which, did we ever get Johnny B to bring up a list of old leagues? If not, I can put it together. I'm sure I got one of the oldest forms I have is Scott put together a document, and I still have it somewhere. And it was the first 30 champions of every IWA championship, and one of the pages was all the IWA leagues. I'm pretty sure that was in that mix. But anyway, so starting off in a roller coaster cycle of trash talk, we have Jax McAllister, who's been going off the rails. He was defeated by the Hawaiian Heartthrob at Magic Bash, took it pretty hard, and he's, even his promo talked about the Suburban Hill Savages, his partners, his teammates, stablemates, who are a fan favorite group, being dude, what's going on? You're off the rails, you're attacking other wrestlers and their families. That's coming to a head. As later on in the bulletin, the trash talk, Punk Rock Mike actually said, look, you got to apologize for this. Just let's clear it up. Let's get over it and move past it. But you got to come out and you got to apologize to Hawaiian Heartthrob's family for what you did, and let's just call it a day. So Monster Truck Tanaka came out from Magic Bash, and while he won the North American Championship, he realized he didn't really win it the right way. He basically bought it, but then he earned respect by beating Johnny Carnage in a match. And he said, look, he's setting his sights on Painter Destruction, which is his former quote friends or allies, which Painter Destruction's Big Guns Greg Ganar, the Pharmacist RX Payne, and Colonel Doom. The Von Schnab's got a quick promo talking about wanting to have a one-on-one match with the White Claw Outlaws at Autumn Anarchy. Adam Cash repeated his promo where he basically called out Punk Rock Mike for not doing something with Jax McAllister, who's, hey, he's this good guy. And those of you longtime players in the BRL might remember the Suburban Hill Savages used to have a guy called Cowboy Jim Spur in their group that was kind of a crazy cowboy. And they had to keep constantly kind of work with him to keep him under wraps because he was going berserk all the time. So is it are we seeing the early stages of a heel turn by Suburban Hill Savages? What's going on here? LePage Turner, who showed up in the IWL and NWL to cut promos about the people there, talks about his loss at the Magic Bash to Kabuki Dragon, being upset about it, but hey, he has a consolation of being the new IWR World Champion as he beat Flashy Jack. He talks up Mick Ferrari as his next challenger and says that, he's compensating for something because he's calling himself Mick Ferrari. And then he talks about his eventual match coming up at Autumn Anarchy, where he finally challenges Punk Rock Mike again on the anniversary of the 2-year match that Mike beat him for the belt. Next up, we have Painter Destruction with a nice little promo here, and they welcome Colonel Doom over from the NWL. He finally makes his way over. They warn the Carnival Prophets that even though they're outnumbered, they're going to beat them. He calls out Tanaka, and they're like, look, we've had some history here, but we want you to join us. Let's just make it official. Even though, Tanaka was kind of being obnoxious about being the leader, but he wasn't the leader. Tanaka comes out, and they attack him. So they beat the hell out of him. Later on, they attacked the Carnival Prophets and Waldek Kowalski. We have a series of attacks by Flashy Jack through Double R, Rob Ratliff kind of acting as his hitman, clobbering Mike Cook with a guitar, then he clobbers the Royal Family of Doom with a chair. So later on, the Fox brothers, Silver and Chief Bold Gray, attack Jack McAllister, kind of to send a message to the Suburban Hill Savages. It's weird having a touchscreen computer. Seth Adams Lee gets pummeled by the Royal Family of Doom. So lots of attacks this cycle. The White Claw Outlaws come out with a new look, claiming to now be called the White Von Claws. So it's now Mike Von Claw and Derek Von Claw. And they're going to clean up the BRL, gain or win the global tag team titles, and they're going to go on and work their way off to get the IWAR tag belts again. Jim Neidhart, meanwhile, is talking about how he's on the verge of another global title shot because he's in a three-way match. For the winner of that, will get a shot at global at Battlecade, so building towards the future. Mike Cook talks about elite lottery plans and his partnership with California Gunslinger, and they beat FJF and Double R. The Olympians gloat about their win over Jane Red and Matthew Van Slaughter to capture the global tag belts, and they were eager to see who wins the number one contenders match between the Von Schnapps and the Carnival Prophets. So whoever wins that will challenge the Olympians, Zeus and Hercules. The mysterious benefactor says, well, he may have lost $250K at Magic Bash. He's all about providing opportunities to others. He's generous, but who's next and what's really behind his generosity? Mad Dog Tommy Zulu doesn't care what Kabuki Dragon's history is because everyone knows how many titles he's won and events he's won. Present day is him kicking his ass at Autumn Anarchy in a cage. He wants proper revenge. So, and I will say, every time I think of Mad Dog Tommy Zulu, I think of one of my favorite feuds, which was Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer versus Tommy Rich, and how bloody that was. Good old blood feud. We have a promo from someone that says, salvation is coming, don't be afraid, deviants. Salvation is the only passage towards the light. While your tribulations will be painful, remember that your suffering is optional. Lay low your fears, for the prophecy of salvation is at hand. I don't know who this is from, but it's good to have new TT, so we'll sign up. But again, I always say, if you can put a banner or some sort of thing, if you want a banner, we're happy to design them for you. That helps us and helps other players identify who's saying what.
It's like the backstabber.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And also too is I've noticed, and there was a player who shall go unnamed, but it used to be whatever wrestler was popular at the moment, they would change their wrestler's name to that wrestler or a variation of that wrestler. So if it was Randy Orton, if it was Roman Reigns, if it was John Cena, and what I'm noticing now is a lot of people are doing kind of promos based on Malachi Black, very dark, sinister, foreboding. Some people do them well. So these aren't too bad so far. So let's see what goes next. Rolling into a happier territory, Hawaiian Heartthrob, coming off his big victory over Jax McAllister to kind of settle that feud. He's looking for a new challenge. He appreciates Adam Cash's offers of help. And he's looking forward to winning gold and putting this nasty feuds behind him. He's had a couple of big nasty feuds. Mick Ferrari, who's been courted to join the Legends of the New Wave, this new stable that Stevie Vertigo and Nightmare Johnny Carnage have formed, have kind of banded together with other NWL greats. And Mick Ferrari's been getting courted for months, and he finally comes out and gives his answer, and he gives Vertigo the finger and tells him how he's the only big real legend in here, that he's won all these things, and he's ranked this high in the all-time. So there's the answer. I guess Mick Ferrari.
Yeah, fuck Stevie Vertigo.
If Aaron's not here, screw Stevie Vertigo, that bastard. Montreal Bankroll, influx of money from Kowalski because he won that big match against the mysterious benefactor. Brags about his win, and then it's kind of. I heard he was going. I don't know if it's happening or not. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. And Jared will let us know, I'm sure. Rainbow Pony, who, if you don't know, is a very muscular, fit man with a mohawk that's rainbow colors. And he's actually a model. I forget who he actually is in real life. That's who his avatar is. But he's very standout look. And he's changed his look to a new thing with white hair and kind of a different look. So it's going to be a big thing. But he wants the love of winning and breaking people in two. He's a big brawling fighter guy. So he's came off of Magic Bash, the big win over Owen Bolek. He crushed him. So what happens next? The Schmidt brothers, speaking of Magic Bash, were unhappy their match ended in a draw. They want a rematch. They want to show they are better. Next up, we get Stevie Vertigo and Drago Tanaka confronting him, challenging to a match at Autumn Anarchy. We get Rodney Diamond and Bronwell Baron discussing the payoff for the North American title, where Tanaka paid them off to win the championship, and that they want to get a shake-up and go to the global division. So it brought me up, and I think what I want to bring up is that I want to make it less about like, was it global division's the top division or North American? Because I think if you make the championships both prestigious, it'll be better. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a shake-up probably around the draft time. And we're going to take all the singles wrestlers and just pick them out of a hat, and they're going to go to different divisions. And so while so that way kind of move, shake it up a little bit. We have a sneak attack by the Smell and Death Grip attacking the Carnival Profits. Poor Carnival Profits. People love the circus, but they're just not popular here. Royal Family of Doom talks about targeting all of the champions in the BRL, and to make their mark and start winning some championships in the league. They offer friendship to Mike Cook. So who the heck is Mike Cook? Going to be buddies with those guys? And then after many years away, we have a return of an old BRL star, former tag team of the year with Western Medicine. That's Dr. Piledriver, MD.
He sucks.
Let's ask the doctor himself. Doctor, what's Dr. Piledriver going to be doing?
Probably pile driving people, I would assume, right?
I would say it's a prescription for a pile driver, no doubt. So, what's that?
He has no input.
No input, okay. Zombie Hunter is back to challenge anyone to a big match. Who will step up? Owen Bullock, while he congratulates Red Pony beating him at Magic Bash, he wants a rematch to prove he's better than him. East West discussed the loss of the tag titles that they earned, and they're on a hot run this year. They can be tag team of the year right now as it stands. So what will East West do? Next, Leroy Butterworth says he's shifting from wrestling to managing and brings in El Rey Escorpion, the team with El Barbero, to form Team Meow 2.0.
Oh.
So Team Meow used to be El Barbero, Senya Lucha, and Dragon de Oro. So new Team Meow out there. Mick Ferrari comes back later on, talks about his hatred for Rhett Grady.
Is Elgato still around?
Yes, but hasn't been drawn up in a while. We miss Elgato. Elgato is the wrestler's cat, so those who don't know. El Barbero's sidekick is like a little cat. He has drawings of the cat playing around doing things. Mick mocks Rhett Grady's accomplishments, even though he's Young Lions champion in the NWL, claiming he beat Stevie Vertigo, Mike Dynasty, and Rod Camino, and who are they? So, that's Mick Ferrari versus Rhett Grady going to be in a last man standing match at Autumn Anarchy. That's going to be fun. Krusty Rhodes talks about his Battle Royal win. He wants to go to the top. FJF comes out and mocks the massive Sabretooth and Joe Boring, and he's had enough of Sabretooth being like, oh, it was a fluke. And Flashy Jack's like, well, I'll beat you at Autumn Anarchy, and then I'll show the world it's not a fluke. So that's going to be lined up for Autumn Anarchy. I talked about the Silver Hill Savages. They kind of talk about, Agent 26's win over Wisp, Mike's win over Neidhart, and talking about, that Jax has to apologize publicly to come on just to settle that thing and get this over with. Nightmare Johnny Carnage talks about his tough loss to Tanaka, but says that it was an amazing match, but he was disgusted by the love glove and thought that threw him off. Tanaka's finishing weapon. Steve Vertigo is going to bounce back and regain that Ravishing title before you know it. Colonel Doom arrives finally, wastes no time going after an old NWL foe, and now Lethal Lottery partner Mick Ferrari, and talks about their match against Monster Truck Tanaka and Aleister Black at the Lethal Lottery. They will destroy them. And as a side note, I think I mentioned before, they actually tied, so they'll move on to a three-way match for the next round. So we get Zydrate talking about Rock the Dwayne Johnson, and Nivik mocks the fast-talking star, and Zydrate wants to beat him at Autumn Anarchy. So that's going to happen. We get a contract signing where Drago Tanaka agrees to face Stevie Vertigo in a battle for respect at Autumn Anarchy, and then Riko Matsuda says he wants Seth Adams Lee because he's sick of his big mouth and whining. I concur. So let's see if Rico Matsuda can shut Seth Adams Lee up. And that is your BRL Trash Talk.
I dig that. So, Matt, what's going down IWAR wide?
Well, as I said before, LePage Turner, the IWAR World Champion, has been making appearances. There'll be some more appearances coming up this cycle as he visits various leagues. And just kind of behind the scenes, the idea is we flirted a long time ago with the idea of the IWAR champion having a column in the IWAR magazine. But I feel that this is sort of a way to get the World Championship out there and like be really obnoxious so that the people that are in those leagues will be rooting for the champion to lose. So driving up the hatred. But LePage Turner is a fun character, right? One of my favorite characters to write for. But I kind of got away from what made me really enjoy writing for him, so I'm kind of getting back to that. The IWAR draft is going to be here before you know it. So if you're interested, the way the IWAR draft works is you declare a wrestler for the draft, and you say, I'm, Mark Justice. I'm just throwing a name out there. I don't have to use it all. I'm Mark Justice, and I'm going to enter the draft. Okay, great. Put you in there. So then what we do is the draft actually works like this. We have the BRL and IWL, and we take turns picking. I was going to do a thing and think like, we'll do a BWL thing, but like there's no other women, and like it'd be kind of a waste of a pick to say like, BWL's going to pick a woman. So we're just going to let that sit aside. But BRL and IWL will pick back and forth and draft wrestlers to their leagues. So if you're not sure what league you want to go to, you could always, beforehand, butter up the commissioner and say, hey, I'd like to go to your league and put that bug in their ear. But we do a contest where the draft is in usually like October or September. We're going to debate on that. Alex and I'll figure that out pretty quick. And once we have it, the draft happens is we start keeping score. And whoever has the highest score over 4 cycles is the winner of the draft. And the winner of the draft goes on to challenge for the Revolution Championship. So it's a contest within a contest. And the draft itself, we do live. So in the past, we did it like we recorded it. Now we can actually do it live on Tubecast.
As it happens.
Yeah, as it happens. And there's some surprises, there's some twists and turns. I always think back to the draft where Koenig was waiting to get drafted and kept getting pissed, like legit pissed that he wasn't getting picked. And it led to some angles coming out of that. But it's a really fun event. It really is. And what's nice about it is we do a prep issue where I have a magazine that kind of like prefaces, like talks about all the wrestlers in the draft, and it's set up like one of those football draft magazine preview issues, so it breaks down the titles they've won, pros and cons, mock draft. And it's a fun issue to do, but it also helps us as the commissioners to kind of know who's in the draft. And I know this last draft I felt had a really good draft. Mick Ferrari, Rec Grady, Stevie Vertigo, Zydrate, and now it's going to be the Honor Revolt. So really strong characters. So the IWL has been snake bitten. Had a couple of drafts in a row where you had some top picks kind of vanish on you.
It happens. It happens.
It happens. I mean, I had Tyler Dresden, and I was like, yeah, Tyler Dresden, and he's gone now. So it happens, but it's a fun way to kind of a different spin on the game, and I think it'll be a lot of fun for everyone involved. So I would say if you want to be involved in questions, the one thing I would suggest is don't enter multiple wrestlers, just because if you want to have all your wrestlers go to the same league, that's fine. But if you have, let's say you had 3 wrestlers, if you don't care where they go, that's fine. But I always find that people who say, oh, I don't mind if it gets split up, almost invariably regret doing that.
Yeah.
Because they want to go one league and just pick, go to one league. So you can also create a wrestler if you just want to be part of the draft, and you create a backstory and tell us about them, and we'll put them in the draft and we'll draft them. But it's fun. You can be outside the IWAR, you could be in the TDL and say you want to get out of the dead league where Luther Alexander lives and come over. So, Scott, do you want to talk about the Lethal Lottery?
No. I haven't. You ask me questions, and you should talk to me before you would do that, because You know I haven't had time for that.
Dick.
Big. Huge.
Yeah.
I am not. It's happening. It's still going on.
You want to talk about Ron Logan?
No, because I don't have I don't have anything to say about Ron Logan. He didn't win anything.
Yeah, it's a bum.
I blame it on a lot of people because I didn't get a strategy this time. Mark, thanks,
That's right.
Mark.
Yep.
Mark.
Kayfabe. Yeah,
Right.
so that's what's going on in the IWAR right now. I mean, we have events going on, but
Except there was one person that has already signed up for the draft. His name is just the free agent.
There it is.
Talking about it yet.
free agent. Nice. All right.
Yeah, man, I dig that. So, guys, before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Jeremy for the super chat. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Scott is now an IWarrior, so congratulations, you got your badge. So be happy.
Nice.
So be happy with that.
I've got my badge. I'm gonna wear it across my underwear.
I'll get it tattooed on my back soon. So don't worry.
Nice. Tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp.
Yes.
Very nice.
I heard it.
You heard what? I guess you didn't hear nothing.
Luke's muted.
What a
Right,
dick.
he's gonna set us up like that.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
I hear you now. Yeah.
Get the tattoo on your neck, Alec.
What was that?
Right there. Get your tattoo right on your neck.
Yeah.
Badge. Right.
the Cody Rhodes.
Oh. Worst idea ever.
He's all right. Except that he's injured, like everybody else.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with that.
Speaking of which, if you watched AEW tonight, I think one of Santana gets hurt. Keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure if he's selling or if he's like really effed up, but
Why did he get injured all the time?
I'm telling you, QT Marshall's the last man standing.
Ridiculous.
Interim champion.
Ridiculous. I want to no more of that shenanigans.
That's right.
All right, guys. So we are officially out of time. So for Scott, for Matt, for Luke, for Jeff, I'm Alex G. Have a good night.